Have you ever noticed how the things that fill our hearts the most are often the hardest to justify? You know, those little things that don't really make sense on paper. Like spending hours to write a letter by hand, when a text would have been so much quicker. Or when you set the alarm to wake up while it's still dark out on a weekend, just because the morning light makes your heart feel a little lighter. I came across a conversation between a devoted plant parent and his friend. When asked why spending hours every day watering those plants, countless of money on various types of plant food and pesticides, even though some of them still wither after a few months, the answer was, the greatest part about all this is that it's useless, and I'm happy to not having to find a use for it. I thought about this a lot lately, about how we live in this world where everything needs to have a purpose, a point, a neat little box to fit in, where even our rest needs to be productive, our hobbies need to be side hustles, and our free time needs to be justified. But what if? What if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if we don't have to find a use for everything we do? A Chinese writer seemed to have answered my questions, that is, back in 2013. He said, the most flavorful things in life, wine, poetry, philosophy, and love, are often useless. To chant useless poems, to be drunk on useless wine, to read useless books, to fall deeply into useless love. One may ultimately become a useless person, yet through this very uselessness, one discovers the true taste of life. It's funny how sometimes the most obvious truth feel like revelations. I thought about this while making noodles by hand the other day. There I was, flour everywhere, my arms tired from kneading, probably looking a bit ridiculous. Any practical person would tell me to just buy them from the store. It would be faster, easier, more efficient. But there's something about the way the dough feels as it transforms with the movements of my fingers. Something about those movements that people have been repeating for generations. Something that can't be measured in time saved or convenience gained. This takes me all the way back to my grandmother's kitchen somewhat 20 years ago. The air was thick with the scent of ginger and star anise, and she was teaching me how to fold dumplings. She would gently nudge my fingers so I can fold the wrappers tight to stop the water from getting in, and teach me tricks like always use the back of the ladle to push the dumplings so they aren't ripped easily while in the pot. We spent hours making what we could have bought in minutes. But there was something sacred in that time. The way her hands moved with such certainty when rolling out the dough. The laughters we shared, and the memories that are still very much alive today. We live in strange times. We've somehow convinced ourselves that even our joy needs to be optimized. We don't just read anymore, we track our reading goals. We don't just walk, we count our steps. We don't just listen to music, we create the perfect productivity playlist. But think about the things that make your heart feel full. A conversation with a friend that stretches into the early hours of the morning. The way certain songs make you feel infinite. The moment when you're lost in creating something and time just dissolves. What's the ROI on a sunset? What's the productivity metric for falling in love? What's the efficiency rating of spending hours getting lost in thought? None for me, and that's exactly what makes them precious. It's like when I spent hours the other day, shaping this small clay whale as a birthday gift. In our world of digital gift cards and next day or even same day delivery, it probably seemed silly, impractical, useless. But as I worked the clay with my hands, adding each tiny detail, waiting for hours between layers of paint and varnish, I know that I wasn't just making a gift. I was crafting a moment of connection, turning time into something tangible, something that says, I thought of you, and I give you my time. Maybe that's what I've been missing. Maybe the most valuable things in life are valuable precisely because they can't be measured, can't be optimized, can't be made more efficient. Perhaps that's what the quote was trying to tell me, that in pursuing those supposedly useless things, I paradoxically become most fully alive. I found this old watercolor pad with the pages filled with random scribbles and drawings. Some are half-colored, others are simply just lines. But looking at those pages, I felt such tenderness for the younger me who created simply for the joy of creating, who didn't ask if it was worth the time, who didn't wonder if it would lead somewhere. Maybe that's what I need to relearn. Not feel pressured to be more productive, but remembering how to be more useless. Like children who spend hours chasing butterflies. Like lovers who count stars. Like artists who paint things that'll never hang in galleries. So perhaps it's time that I embraced a little uselessness in my life. Time I remembered that not everything needs a purpose beyond the joy it brings, the connection it creates, the meaning it holds. Because in the end, the most valuable things in life might just be the ones that serve no purpose at all. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly how it should be.